What's up, y'all? It's Jo Adell, and you're watching the Under the Halo podcast.
Are you do you collect stuff?
I've started going and collecting former teammates like jerseys from players that I played with coming up that are on different teams, the big leagues now. So I'm working on that.
Like NBA style jersey swap, is that?
The jersey swap's tough because if a team comes and visits us and we swap, they might not have a backup. So what I do now is I just will order whatever jersey I want from them, through our clubhouse guys.
Planning ahead.
Yeah, and so that way they're not stuck with no jersey.
See, that's the kind of stuff.
That's what happened with Marsh. When me and Marsh did a swap.
Right, I remember that.
We did it on the last game of the series, but I think he ran out of a jersey.
That's amazing. You still keep.
But they were going back home, so he was good.
That makes sense.
But, yeah.
You guys still stay close?
Oh yeah. I still keep up, and obviously it's different now, schedules and whatnot, and sometimes there's a lot of time that goes by, but we check in.
That's awesome. It was fun watching you guys come up together, and now seeing what you're doing. It's been really cool to watch. Joe, okay, we're going to talk baseball. We have to talk baseball, but we do want to get into some other things. We've had you up here before, and it's good to have you back. But when I think about, okay, what does Jo Adell do? I know that you're a masher, and I know that you're strong as anybody on this ball club, but what's a day in the life of Jo Adell?
Well, it depends on how early you're starting, whether or not we're at
night
home
game.
or at the field.
Yeah.
So typically on a night game, I try to get up earlier than I have in the past. Seasons prior, I was getting up in the morning at I guess it's not morning, it'd be noon, and then going to the field. But I try to get up and get breakfast going. That's kind of been something new for me. But I wake up at 10, 11 o'clock, get breakfast in, and then within an hour or so, I'm going to the park, right? And really, this time of year, we're halfway through the season at this point. It kind of just depends on what my body needs, right? It's not about, you're not going to come to the field every day, especially in a 162-game season, and attack everything. So my mindset is I get to the field, I get a little bit of treatment in, make sure I'm hydrated. Hydration, I think, is huge. And yeah, get in the weight room, get stretched out. If it's a lift day, I'll go through my lift routine with Dylan. He's been awesome. He's been a part of this team now for a couple years, and he's fantastic. And yeah, really just get ready to go for practice, get in the cage, really try to limit the swings. I think that's something for me. The past couple of years, I've struggled staying on the field during the back half of the season, which is something that I'm really working hard to make sure that I can overcome that. But really just monitoring the work. Some days I don't hit on the field. BP's optional most days at this time of the year. So, I take it as I need it. And then for those days where I just want to hit in the cage and just do my drill routine and be done.
I've heard you talk about this before, talking about the work not necessarily meaning you're going to get the result, and going through that process. Is it difficult when you're putting the work in? And I know for a while, just we're seeing it now, but for a long time, there were struggles and you're working, and you're not getting the payoff. What's it like when you're trying to fight through that?
Yeah, I also too, I know for me, especially when I first got up in the first couple of years in the big leagues trying to figure this out, I would work so hard, but at times overworking, right? So you can overwork yourself into a little bit of a problem, right? So I think smart work is more important than just overall work. And unfortunately, the game of baseball, you're really good, you're going to fail 7 out of 10 times. It's this. It's the type of sport where you have to just go in knowing that no matter how hard you work, you just might not have the results. And that's just a tough thing. That's a tough thing to swallow. But once you understand that that's just the way that this is, and that you're willing to sacrifice your time and your work to get a little bit of that success, that's what these guys do. That's why we're here. That's what we're about. But yeah, you're right. Early on, it was tough. I was man, I feel like I'm doing everything that needs to be done, but I'm just not getting the results or getting them very sporadically. And I think now I understand that, hey, you know what? You're not going to be able to tackle everything every day. Get the work that you need to get in, and understand that the game, as the game goes, is going to dictate, what you're going to be able to do. The defense has the ball. That's the game that we play.
When you have a 2-homer game, who's the first phone call?
Well, at that time, so my family lives on the East Coast,
Yeah.
right? So if we're doing that at home, I'm not gonna wake up mom. I'm gonna let her, wake up in the morning and see the news. But probably my girlfriend Jasmine. I see her when I get home, and so, she congratulates me. Always happy to see me, and even on the 4 strikeout game, happy to see you when you come home.
You and Jasmine have been together for a little bit now.
Yeah, over 2.5 years now.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Good for you. All right. We'll start calling some jewelers and try not to keep an eye out on that.
Whoa, now.
Is he?
Yeah.
No. I'm
No,
just messing around. We're just having some fun here.
No, she's great.
Joe, okay, you're a big music guy. Walk me through how you go about selecting your walk-up song and the process.
Ooh. Yeah. So I think my style in music is R&B-ish, but like hip hop as well. So I like slower beat music. So I don't like, there's not a lot of quick pace like rap that I'll use. A lot of times the music that I choose has really good, slower, like R&B type of feel to it. I've done Lil Wayne in the past for a couple of years. But I think like my music genre kind of just depends on what mood I need to get in for the game. So I have, there's even a little bit of country that's been in the mix for me pregame from time to time. But for the most part, I'm an R&B guy and hip hop at heart.
So are you a music enjoyer connoisseur, or could we see Jo Adell performer?
You're not gonna see a performer. I'll tell you that. You're not gonna see a performer. But yeah, I'm definitely into music. Like I enjoy, windows down, listening to music, like riding, back from the field and to the field. Like I definitely enjoy that part.
You guys just got a 4-game sweep in Houston. Life is good. Everyone's feeling all right. Getting on the plane. It's karaoke night. Which angel is taking the microphone?
Oof, I don't know. We're looking for somebody good or funny? That's the question.
Who care? I don't care if they're good. I want to be entertained. If it's
entertained.
funny, if it's good, I want to be entertained.
Oof. I mean, I'd probably give it to Nolan, because he's probably going to pick a Fergie song, right? He's probably going to pick a Fergie song and make it weird, so that's probably my
I'm
pick.
so disappointed I did not have that nugget to bust Nolan when he was up here a couple of weeks ago
you should've
about
got
the Fergie stuff.
You should have got him. Well, now it's like a staple now. He can't change it now. It's just, that's what it is. LA Love, that's a good one. I like it. It fits him.
Yeah, no, for sure it fits, but that's incredible. You guys have the inside jokes are always like the funniest part about the baseball season, and we don't want to share them with the whole world. Otherwise, there wouldn't be inside jokes anymore. But the camaraderie of this team, we've had some of the guys up here before, and they've talked about it. What's your sense of just kind of the way that this group has been together this year?
It's been fantastic. I think it's led to a lot more wins than you really think. When you put together like a team, you're looking for like talent, obviously. But you just never know how it's going to gel. You never know how like players are going to play. You could have the best players in the world and it just not work. You're going to have individual performances that are going to help you win games, absolutely. But with this team in particular, it's the second year that most of these guys are together, and that's been big. It's been big to have the same group for a couple of years or close to it. You're starting to see guys not afraid to fail, I should say that. And that's like the important part about the big leagues, is just being aware of who you are, what you contribute to the team, and not like carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And we don't have that. We have guys that understand who they are. Like I come to the field, I understand who I am as a player. I understand what I'm trying to do to help us win. Nolan, Neto, of course, Mike Trout. Everybody's aware of what they bring to the table, and that's the important part. And they're okay with letting their hair down. And I think that's who we've become, and I'm excited to see it continue to roll.
Who are your guys? Is it like everybody, or do you have like a group that you hang out with more than others?
I'm gonna be honest with you, it's everybody. And I haven't been able to say that, especially in years prior, but with this group, you can go up and talk to anybody, have a conversation with anybody. You have a good group of people. And I think that's what's huge about this.
That's pretty neat to hear that, because that is, I think, uncommon in sports, especially pro sports.
Yeah.
It's hard, that just doesn't happen. So that's pretty neat. For you as well, the numbers this year, like I know your process has been the same, and you've been working, and you've had the talent. We're seeing the numbers start to come together. How has your life changed in this season, being able to have the first half that you've had?
Well, it's been great, and I think one of the things for me, Johnny Washington, Tim Laker, like we hit on it in the cage when we talk about approach, but Just not being afraid to be boring. That's what we talk about. But what we mean by that is having the same routine, the same way of going about your work every day, and trusting that you're going to get the results that you deserve. And that's what we're about. We're about, hey, like, you're going to go in, you're going to struggle at times, but it doesn't mean it's time to change, right? It means that you struggled for whatever that period of time is. But we've understood that, for me being in the batter's box, there's going to be, you're only as good as the pitches you swing at. And, once that kind of came full turn for me, I started to understand, hey, what I'm looking for, what I'm able to hit versus pitches that I'm just not able to hit very well. And if I'm going to take a strike 3 call on a pitch that I can't hit very well, it's a borderline pitch, don't be afraid to just tip your hat and say, this guy made a good pitch. But over the course of this year, my at-bats just became better and better and better. I started zoning in on those pitches that I knew I could handle. Yeah, there's going to be some chase there, and there's going to be times where I swing at pitches that I don't want to and check swing and do that type of thing, but I'm aggressive to the pitches that I can handle, and I'm trying to lay off the pitches that I can't.
How much of that do you feel like is mechanics, approach, the work, versus just the confidence of, like, I'm hitting the ball really well right now, I want to keep that going?
Yeah. I think it's kind of 50-50. It's, it's a process of, like, hey, like, I trust my work. Like, trusting your work is part of it, because, you go into a game and you don't trust what you've done to prepare for the game, then you're kind of losing the battle already. So I think you have to trust your work, but also you have to believe in your approach. So you have to trust your work, and then there's an opponent out there who's trying to get you out, and you have to believe in your approach against him. And if you can have both of those, then I like your chances. And I think that's what's different for me, is my approach. I trust my approach against him better than I had years prior. So now I'm giving myself a better chance of saying, hey, I know what I'm going to get against this guy. I know what it looks like. I've seen guys like him before if I've never faced him, and I'm believing in what that is. Now I'm going up there, and now I have a really good chance of having a good at-bat.
I want you to play a little hypothetical game with me, if you don't mind. Okay, so we're going to line up all your teammates. We're going to play a one-swing home run derby, and the winner is going to be based on distance. Who is hitting the longest home run on this ball club?
It would be me.
Yeah.
Probably. Now, if Ohtani was here, Showtime could put on a show. For sure.
There were some long ones for sure. What's the longest home run you think you've hit? Like batting practice, like anywhere.
Batting practice anywhere. Believe it or not, I think BP is a little harder to hit the longest home run just because of the velo.
Yeah, it's not coming in as fast.
Yeah, the velo, it's not coming in as fast.
That's the. By the way, that's the extent of what I know about physics. Like, that's it right there. I barely passed in high school. So. We got through it. But okay, so batting practice is a little bit tougher. But
yeah, batting practice is a little bit tougher. The farthest ball I've ever hit was in AAA. I hit a homer. It was a 3-0 breaking ball. It was like 514 feet.
Altitude's nice.
Yeah, good altitude, which was half the battle. But yeah, it was a shot. And I've heard for the longest, breaking balls go farther. That's like been a thing. Okay. But yeah, it was a 3-0 curveball down the middle of the plate, and definitely had some help. But I hit that ball and I didn't even see it. Like, I hit it and I knew it was out, but like I couldn't follow it.
The only thing I could describe, like, I'm a golfer, so when I connect on a drive, and the equivalent of a barrel is just hitting like that perfect drive, which for me happens once around, and it feels fantastic. But when like you get that sensation of like barreling one up, when you absolutely smoke it, what's that feel like in the batter's box?
Honestly, you don't even feel. You kind of feel like a little bit of like recoil, like you hit the ball and like your bat kind of like fades back, but you really don't even feel it. Like, it feels like you just flushed it. Like, sometimes you hit it so well that you like don't see it. Like, you hit it so flush, you're like trying to find it because you hit it so well. But yeah, I mean, it's a good feeling. It's like an old metal bat type of feeling, that you get when you get one good. So
I just would like to see one time. I want to see you swing an aluminum bat at the ball. I just want to see it once. I want to see you send some to the parking lot.
I actually did one time. So I actually swung a metal bat in Arlington.
Oh.
In early BP. and this was, I think it was like a couple of years ago.
That's borderline like lethal.
Yeah, and so, but it was. So like I was swinging a training bat in early batting practice, and I didn't think anything of it because I was just like, it was basically like a long bat. So it was like a little bit longer than my normal game bat, and I was working on staying inside the ball, right? Like, and I'm hitting these balls, and I keep hearing this thud noise like a couple seconds after I'm hitting these baseballs. I'm like, what is that? And I'm hitting the back glass in Arlington. I'm just bouncing balls off the back glass, and then I turn around, and I'm hearing somebody call my name. They're like, hey, hey, hey. And I turn around, and it's Perry's running down the stairs from the GM suite. And he's like, dude, they're gonna think we're cheating. You have to cut this out. And so I end up stopping, but yeah, I was just in there. I was like swinging, like I wasn't even looking at the ball. I was just like hitting the ball, like on to the next pitch. But yeah, I was bouncing balls off the back glass in Arlington.
That's amazing. You're lucky.
I don't know what the metrics were.
You might have gotten an invoice if you were breaking some windows out there in the back glass. That could have been the case.
Yeah, for sure.
Was there a swing on when you're on the junior circuit, coming up as a high school player? I know, for those that don't know, Joe was a pitcher before you became a hitter. Was there a swing that was like caught so much attention that everyone changed? Like, whoa, that guy can do that?
Oh, for me, like during my time, yeah. So I actually, what ended up happening was I always hit and pitched on most teams that I played on coming through. But when I got into, it was my sophomore year, so I was playing summer ball my sophomore year, and I tried out for a team as a hitter and a pitcher, and they told me no. They said, hey, like we want you to pitch, but we don't think you have a future as a hitter. So I didn't play for that particular team, and I was like searching around for teams to play for, and I was given a chance to play on a national team that said, hey, we'll let you do both, but we'll let you hit, but only during pool play games, right, of the tournament. So I'm pitching, we get into pool play, we get up by a bunch of runs, right? So I come in and they let me hit off the bench in summer ball, right? So I get out there, we're playing at the University of Duke, so we're playing like a tournament in North Carolina. And I come out, and first pitch, I hit a line drive off the top of the fence that was probably 15 feet off the ground the whole way. And I pull up into second base, and that was the last time that I pitched for that team that summer. I hit fourth in the lineup, played outfield every day, came into my junior year, kept developing. I actually pitched my junior year in high school still. I just didn't pitch in the summer. And yeah, I kind of, before my senior year hit, I was kind of put the glove down, and it became about me being a hitter, and never really looked back. But really that one tournament in summer ball as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old kind of really changed my trajectory as a hitter. So.
Do you ever get the bug, like, I can still pitch?
I did for a couple of years after, a year or so after high school, right? When it was like, I was in pro ball and I was like watching these guys throw bullpens, and part of me was like, I can do this, but now at this level, I'm like, nah. These guys are legit, and it's about making pitches. And I was more of a thrower. I was just in there like wanting to like heat it up and see if I get somebody out. But
yeah, just power guy. That makes sense. That's fitting. Are you still fluent in Pig Latin?
SCAI, AMA, UINTFLE, NA, IGPE, ATNLE.
See, what is happening right now?
I said, yes, I'm fluent in Pig Latin.
No, I got it. How did that come to be?
So my mom was an English teacher forever, and it just became like a family thing. Like my mom was into words, like into, fun ways to use words and sentences, and she ended up teaching me and my sister when we were really young how to do it. And I'm trying to teach my girlfriend now, but she struggles with it, and she's extremely smart, so I kind of feel like I got the edge for once.
On one thing. I can only imagine like the Adell family at a restaurant. You guys are sitting around the table and they're trying to figure out what you're talking about, and you're having a full conversation.
Yeah, I'm just talking about somebody next to me. And they don't even know what I'm saying.
People would have no idea.
My dad doesn't know though. My dad doesn't know. It's me, my mom, and my sister, and two of my cousins.
So you can say whatever you want about Dad, and he's never going to know.
SCA, Ihe, Azande, One, Ikpe, Adenle. That's
amazing. Are there like other hidden talents we should know about you?
That's really my big one.
I mean, that's a big one. That's pretty good.
That's like my own like language flex. You know what I mean? That I feel like I can talk about somebody or vent and nobody would know.
See, this is like we almost need to try to find a way to incorporate this into baseball. Like you could be like giving signs in Pig Latin and like be on guys.
Yes, would have to teach the team.
They'd
yes,
have to
but-
learn, but I don't. I've seen some of these guys. I don't know if that's happening.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
might
got
have to.
the pig Latin thing that caught me off guard. But honestly, Joe, I was expecting to be like, that was something that we did in high school. I didn't know that you were going to keep up with that.
No, I keep up with it. I practice. I got it down. If anybody ever comes by and they know it, I'm the master if they want to learn too. So
That is so good. Speaking of mastery, okay, you talked about like going through the approach a little bit earlier, swing wise, but you've also made some tweaks. Like you've made some adjustments, and the most recent adjustment seems like it's really been working out for you. Maybe can you like talk me through the genesis of how that came to be and what you're doing with that foot now and how you feel like that's helping you swing?
yeah. So originally, so I'd always had kind of like a leg lift until halfway into last year. I kind of went to like a early like toe where I put my toe down early and swung. It helped me get to a lot of fastballs. So I was getting to a lot of fastballs and hitting fastballs really well in the back half of the season. But I kind of ran into a little bit of an issue pulling off the ball a little bit. I was hitting a lot of balls straight to third base or all the way down the left field line, like hooking balls in the stands. And I couldn't really get out of that feeling of just like pulling off the baseball and coming around the baseball, right? Because we always talk about staying inside the ball and wanting to be able to use all fields, right? When you're an all fields hitter, you have a better chance. So I went on and we're looking at this, we're looking at it. And at first, when I guess this was probably like a couple of months ago, when I decided to just kind of go back and just like lift it and kind of just like incorporate that as part of the swing, I wanted to use it as a 2-strike. So if I got to 2 strikes, I wanted to use the early toe as like a 2-strike approach and see if, that would be something that I wanted to do. But naturally, since I was in high school, I've had like a leg lift, and to be able to compete with something throughout the entire at bat, I wanted to do that. So I really just stuck with lifting that leg and making it made it more rhythmic for me. Yeah. It made it more kind of like what I'm used to doing when I swing. And at times too, it also allowed me to use right center. It kind of brought right center back into play. Like you look at when I stepped with my front foot and with the leg lift now, right field is wide open. And that's always been a weapon for me, is being able to go backside.
My favorite Jo Adell is right center Jo Adell. that's when it's going good. And it's interesting hearing you talk about some of this stuff, because Joe, we've had conversations before where you've talked about, your approach is like, hey, my approach is like whatever pitch I feel like I can drive, I can do it. And I know we got into that a little bit, but you were, with 2 strikes, it is a little different. That hasn't, correct me if I'm wrong, but that really hasn't always been part of your game, maybe making adjustments with 2 strikes.
Yeah, and I think the tough part too is like, when you're playing in the minor leagues and you're playing through the runs in the big leagues, they matter so much. And when you get a runner in scoring position, right, like you're talking about being in a 2-strike count. I'm up to bat, runners on second base. They're trying to throw pitches to make me ground out to the third baseman, shortstop, right? Like the ability to move a runner with less than 2 outs from second base to third base it's huge. It's so big, and like I feel like coming through that part of my game, I didn't understand that part of baseball yet until we started losing some games, right? And we started not getting the job done. And then you start looking at, well, how do we find a way to get these guys over? How do we find a way to play the game better than what they're going to put out defensively? And so that's kind of when that opened up. It said, hey, like I get to 2 strikes, like even if I get beat, if I have a runner in scoring position, like I'm hitting behind him. And that's like kind of where now my approach is completely different. Like I'm okay getting rung up on a slider down and in that he calls strike 3.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But I don't want to just ground that ball into shortstop. You know
it doesn't,
what I mean?
It's the same result.
Yeah, it doesn't do any good.
Yeah.
Fighting to get to the next pitch, and I think that's just part of the maturity of me continuing to play and me being out here and experiencing it and knowing that games are lost by 1 run here. For the most part. So I think it just goes back to the approach. It goes back to the approach, changing, evolving for me. It's not anything that, I wouldn't change anything from the past. Like this is part of growth. Like it's understanding what you have to do to be better. And that's where my mind is hey, how do we win a game?
it's just really interesting for me to hear you talk about that, because I look at just where this team was. First 6 weeks, the Angels were not very good about moving guys over and coming through in situations, and the record reflected that. And then as you guys as a team have picked things up and have gotten into a different place, well, coincidentally, being able to move guys over, coming through with hits and scoring position, all that stuff has been, I think, probably a reason why this team has started to do some winning. Is that something that maybe isn't discussed a whole lot when you're coming up as a prospect, going through the minor leagues? There's so much like individual development. Is that something that maybe it takes getting to the big leagues to understand the challenge there, to where like you're truly understanding just kind of the depth of this game in those situations?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you firsthand. I was a top prospect. Coming through, and I was a first-round pick, and a lot of the show was about me, about like what I felt, what I wanted to do, the value of the win. Playing in short season or low A wasn't the same, and it's not because we didn't care about winning. It was just because, well, I was going to play there for 2 weeks, and then I was going to be gone. I was going to play 25 games at low A. So it's like, I break camp with a team and play a month, and I was gone. So it was like, how am I supposed to care about what's happening there? You know what I mean?
It makes all sense.
Yeah, enough to be, in it. And I think when you get to this level, it becomes about, okay, nobody cares. We're like, the W is a W and L is an L. And if you're a factor every day, if you're somebody who comes every day doing winning things, then you're going to be out there helping us win games. And I think that is to jump from what that is, moving through the minor leagues and kind of that experience for me versus now we need a winning player. That's a big jump. And I don't think it's talked about enough. I think, you see the performances of a lot of top prospects and they play and, they're putting up unbelievable numbers, but their teams are getting beat every night. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, but nobody's checking that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody's checking that. And so that's the thing, is going from the expectation of you getting what you need to get done into you need to help us win. And those are two different things. And so absolutely. It is a challenge. It is different. But yeah, I don't think it's talked about enough, but it's definitely my experience for sure.
I hope every young prospect in America is listening to you talk about this right now, because I think that that's so important. It's such an important message. Last thing for me, defensively. Last year, unbelievable growth. You go to right field, you're a Gold Glove finalist. Now you move to center field. What is the challenge that comes with that? Like, how difficult is that move?
I'm not going to lie, like at first, I'm getting better now, but at first it was difficult, and it was difficult because I wasn't aware of how much space I actually had. Because when you're in the corner outfield position, like in right field, I knew every inch of what I had out there in the field. But when you're in center field, like there's a lot of times where, first of all, you have to be aware of both outfielders, which was different because for me, I was only looking at the center fielder, right? So I went from looking at just the center fielder to looking at the left fielder and the right fielder, right? So that's the first thing. But the second thing is you have a lot of room, a lot more room than, I remember. And I came up as a center fielder when I was a prospect. So like as a younger player, like when I got drafted, I was a center fielder, but I played center field on smaller fields, right? Because it was high school fields. And, also I wasn't 230 pounds. You know what I mean? Which is a little bit different. So I think for me now, I'm understanding where I need to be and where I need to play to make the plays that I need to make. And that's the most important thing, because center field is a lot of damage control for the most part, right? Like you're trying to get to a ball to get it to the cutoff man to prevent extra bases. It's not necessarily like balls to the wall, jump and dive for every play. Because in center field, if you miss a ball, I mean, it's a circus, you know what I mean? So it's the biggest part of the field. I think now I'm starting to understand, hey, like where my outfielders, I know Wardo's capabilities. When Solaire's out there, I know where Solaire is and what he can get to. And you start to understand your guys. You have to know your players. And that's different than being in the corners. In the corners, you just need to know yourself and be aware of the other outfielder and the center fielder. But when you're in center field, you have to know your players. So
I tell you what, watching you continue to progress in this journey. It's been awesome. And I'm so happy that you're having the season you're having.
Appreciate it.
Before we're done, can you say thanks for watching the Under the Halo podcast in Pig Latin?
Okay, so you want me to say what? Thanks
for watching the Under the Halo podcast.
Thank you, Thay, Orphe, Oching Way, Ide, Under, They, Ide, Alo, Oddcast, Pay. Ooh, that was a tough one, too.
We did it. Way to go. That was well done. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it. That was a tongue twister, too.
Dude, that was
a tough one.
I was just thinking, like, you're going through, like, shoot. That was awesome. That was impressive. I didn't see that one coming. That was good.